we're back. This is the week 2, week 3 edition of the Sheets Boys podcast, and we're here to give you all the highlights, and we're going to break down week 2, all the user matchups that we got. We're going to look at the scores, and then we're going to look into week 3, and then Ricky's got some questions that he's going to want to ask me, and I'm excited to hear them. So let's just jump right in and let's get started. So what we got for week 2, Ricky? We started off with the big one, Penn State Notre Dame, and that definitely didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I think in total we had, let me count here, 6 user matchups. So I'm not sure if one actually got played. I couldn't see the one that was Washington, Oklahoma. But yeah, I think we should probably just start right there with Penn State Notre Dame because it right after the advance.
Yep.
That's what we got immediately.
Definitely started with a
Were you
great
able to watch
game.
this game, Frank?
I watched probably about 75% of it. I was unable to watch the final about 3 minutes of the game, unfortunately, which was probably the best part. But
Well, I mean, it depends if you like interceptions or not. If
that's
that's the
true.
best part. It was a turnover fest. But I mean, hey, I don't blame McMahon at all. he he probably had the game won at the end of the fourth quarter, but his kicker could not kick a gimme.
Well,
But stadium pulse being what it is, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
yep. No, definitely. And I'll give Nate credit. He beat McMahon and he threw 7 picks. So it's one less than me, but he beat a user and throws 7 picks. So that's very impressive for you, Nate. So good job on that.
No, that's very impressive. And like I said last week, Notre Dame had probably the most impressive week one um, matchup just because of the quality of play, quality of opponent, stifling defense week one, and I think that translated to week two again.
Right.
Um, Now, with that said, I mean, McMahon had almost probably 100 more yards of offense, but he had the timely defense. He got that turnover right away in overtime. I wonder if that was just McMahon forcing the ball
Yeah.
right after just missing that kick. Not expecting to be in overtime, just trying to
Right.
set himself up. But that was his undoing, unfortunately, and Notre Dame was able to take it easy in overtime.
Hey.
But I mean, major implications from this though.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
are we ready to basically say Penn State needs to win the Big Ten to get to the playoffs?
Penn State cannot lose another game. So I would have to agree with you, Ricky, that Penn State has to run the table and win the Big Ten championship.
But they're definitely capable. I mean, they've been in the championship game 2 years running.
Champs. So no,
McMahon.
he
I
can
mean, you
definitely do it. He can definitely do it. His team's a little young,
you
but
could. I mean, you could definitely argue he should have won both these games.
right. I mean, he just killed himself both times, but he can eliminate those errors down the road, and he'll be just fine.
Yep. I mean, just change your strategy. I guess he's gonna have to just practice some fourth down plays because he's not kicking ever again.
Yeah, just know your kicker's range, so you don't even have to line up. But
And this sets up Notre Dame pretty well. They're going 2-0 with a very, very, very impressive resume,
yeah,
beating a stacked Oregon team, the defending champions, and Penn State. I think they can probably, you know, they can probably suffer a loss here, maybe two, depending how the rest of the league uh, crumbles here.
yeah,
But Notre Dame has probably them and your opponent from week two probably off to the hottest starts here.
yeah. So that game, that was definitely not fun, for me. But good job on Aaron. I mean, he definitely gave me the business. I killed myself early. I have a mindset where if you punt, you lose. So that's just me. It's definitely something that I should probably look into changing because I've cost myself a couple of games in this just by not punting the ball. And I know I can maybe get a stop on defense and switch field, but I just don't like losing a possession to a punt. That's just how I am. But definitely something that I should maybe look into changing.
Did you not trust your defense at all that game against a user like Aaron?
It's not that I didn't trust my defense. I just I just wanted to put up points and like I knew I could maybe get a stop on defense. But yeah, maybe you're right, Ricky. I couldn't. I wanted to put up points, and that's all I wanted because I know he was going to put points up on me, and I knew it. If I was going to put points up, I knew I'd have to stop him once. But once I threw that first pick, it all went downhill for me from there, and then I just kept shooting myself in the foot. But yeah, all credit to Colorado. I mean, he's definitely a hell of a player, and um, he proved it again. He took down a strong opponent in Iowa. He took me down. I mean, he's running the gauntlet. So good for him. I
Yep,
mean,
there was yep. I it doesn't get any better than that. Honestly, he basically took out one of the best teams from the first 2 years in Iowa. Again, probably should have been in the national championship game, and then obviously the two-time defending Ole Miss SEC champions.
yeah, he
So
dismantled me.
that
So
that's impressive. I mean, I think we are back to having year one Aaron, just without the Travis Hunter
thank
and
God.
Sanders duo. So it's even more impressive this go around, I
We
think.
just got Droogs back.
Um, but but my takeaway from this game, honestly, was just simply um, as soon as you got behind, you kept pressing. And I've been there plenty of times, feeling like you have to score on every drive just to be able to stand a chance. And it's easy to get behind against a player of Aaron's caliber.
I couldn't run the ball on him.
It's
I mean, every time I could, he had some fast linebackers. His linebacker chugged a beer on me after the first play of the game, so I knew it was going to be a rough game for me.
that set the tone.
Yeah, I mean, his last name's DeBeer, and he chugged a beer. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So good for him.
Uh,
He's definitely gonna be a
y-
tough opponent down the road. So
yeah, and he's 2/3 way through his gauntlet, I'm pretty sure. And as soon as we're clear of that, I mean, I don't think anyone actually has an easier in conference schedule based off what we've seen before. I think he only gets 2 users in his conference schedule.
right,
And he just manhandles all these computers that lie in his wake. So I think he is setting himself up here. Even if he somehow slips up one game or so, he should be a near shoe in for the Big 12 championship.
yeah, I definitely agree.
Um, and then in terms of Ole Miss, I still think you're trying to find your identity offensively. That's why I like your chances going into this game, where Colorado plays smart. They don't press themselves, and he's got playmakers all over the field.
Yes, yeah, he's got the speed for sure.
Yeah, I
But let's
mean,
pivot off of this game, Ricky, and let's
you
get
sure?
into.
I mean, I can talk this one 15 minutes more if
I
you
know
want me
you
to.
could. I know. But I mean, did you want to ask your questions now, or you want to wait? You want to?
No, I think there's a couple other user
Okay.
games we have to go through
All
here.
right. You want to go to Texas,
Let's
Arizona?
quickly touch base on Washington, Oklahoma. Again, I'm not sure if this game got played or not.
Go Washington.
Um, Oklahoma looks like they won 30-23. Um, Oklahoma coming back after a tough loss to Nebraska in week one
Yeah,
that they
definitely
easily could
forgot
have
that one
stowed
got
away.
played. Yeah, I don't think that one got played. I think that was just a sim, because it doesn't say.
Oh yeah, I see now. Played 0 times. Yep.
Yeah, but good. Hey, that's a
But
good win
still, I
for
mean,
Oklahoma.
that's a good. Hey, that's a good lucky break.
Yeah. Hey, and
Oklahoma
just
didn't get many of those week one.
keep up with Michigan. They're 2-0. Took down Old Dominion, so that's something to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah, I mean, if anyone hasn't peeked that schedule yet, take a look. Michigan might be. Um,
Yeah, that's a
Computer Michigan might be on their way to the Big Ten championship as the rest of the league devours itself.
Want to go
Oh, we
Arizona?
got all right. We got the controversial matchup of the week: Arizona versus
Yeah.
Texas. Did you watch this one at all, Frank?
I watched probably the first quarter of it, and then that's all I could watch.
Uh,
I could see Texas made a
Um,
comeback there towards the end, and then I saw some stuff going on in the chat. So I'm not
yeah,
exactly
I
sure
mean,
what
they
happened.
were definitely trading blows all second half, and Arizona. I mean, Texas just needed one stop and they couldn't get it. And essentially, went offsides 3 times in a row before the referees kicked them out.
So yeah, intentional grease.
So I don't remember the actual score. Maybe like 31-28, somewhere around there.
So it was 31-29.
At the time of that.
And what's funny is Texas won the turnover battle, and they were better on fourth down conversions. They just struggled on third downs, and that was probably their undoing. Made them.
But is that the actual game though, or is that the simulated game?
This is the real game. It's not simulated.
Oh, okay.
It's just the game. I'm pretty sure the game ended at what the score was.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but it looks like they were both running the ball. Looked like Arizona had their run game, and their high power run.
Yeah,
game.
that's the best run game in the league.
Definitely
by far.
500 yards of offense. So yeah, good for Arizona, 2-0.
And there's another team that had a really, really bad schedule. Not really bad, but like a really tough schedule on paper. And I mean, credit to Christian. He is simply just rose to the occasion, taking 2 top flight teams out here. He basically just defeated both the teams representing the national championship back to back. Doesn't get more impressive than that.
No, you're definitely
right. So I mean, again, with all that talk about the scheduling, at the end of the day, it's all in your own destiny.
Right.
And I don't think anyone's impressed more on an individual basis than Arizona.
Yeah, I definitely.
Thus far.
More Arizona's definitely impressed this season. They're definitely the most.
They are.
You
probably have to put them up there with anyone.
But
yeah, you probably have to put them up there with anyone with someone you don't want to face, or like, oh man, I have to lock in if I see Arizona.
Be on your A game when you play the Wildcats. Well, here let's.
That just seems.
Let's keep it rolling here, just to speed it up so we can get to the week 3. Virginia Tech, TCU. Virginia Tech still rolling. Should a little controversy there. We were saying they should be the 1 seed. Now they're the 2. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but a little bit of a kick in the face there to Virginia Tech. But I think they're okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Virginia Tech was actually losing early in this one, and then they just dominated the second half. I didn't watch the
at half, and then 18 unanswered points in the second half by Tech to put them up 27-17.
Yeah, there was some stifling defense in the fourth quarter. I was able to catch most of that. TCU just as soon as they could not move the ball when they needed to.
Total turnovers in the game. So it's definitely.
Yeah, it was definitely a sloppy one from what I saw.
No one wanted the ball, is what it looked like. But yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that this week. You combine that with the Notre Dame game, just seeing who can out turnover one another. But that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, right. Sometimes it's just about who can make that one play. It looked like Virginia Tech made it in the second half.
Or 8.
Or 8, right?
But no, I mean, credit to Virginia Tech though. I mean, it's always hard coming back from double digits, especially in this league when the users are all so good.
Yeah, it's so hard.
It is so easy to, as soon as you get behind, just to feel like you have to press, and then bam, compounds, much like in your game, and before you know it, it's out of reach.
Yep, you throw one pick, and then they score, you throw another pick, they score, and then before you know it, you're out of the game.
Exactly. I think we only have one more matchup from this past week. That was Kansas, Missouri.
Yep.
And this was a lot closer than the final scoreline says.
Yeah, quick.
But Missouri actually had an opportunity to tie this game late. Just couldn't get in the end zone in the around the 10, 15 yard line if I recall.
Yeah,
and Kansas just took it from there.
So far for Kansas.
He is clinical. I mean, all the talk. I mean, here's the thing: all that talk about, Colorado, Arizona, rightfully so, with what they've done thus far. Kansas is just lying there in the weeds. They were a playoff team themselves last year.
Right.
They're just chugging along. They're beating who they're supposed to beat right now, and
Missouri.
We'll see.
He likes to throw the
Yeah,
ball. So
Missouri scores points, that's for sure.
yeah,
It's gonna.
definitely gonna be a high scoring
We'll
game.
get into that week 3 matchup, but it's gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, Missouri has some fast guys. A lot of they're senior loaded this year, so you got to watch out for the Tigers. They
Yeah.
got a lot. They have
So I mean,
a lot of seniors.
that's all of week 3 there. What's your overall impressions from what we saw week 3?
Well, week two.
Or week 2, yes, week 2.
Well,
Week 3, get ahead of myself here.
yeah, it's okay. We'll get there. Week two, there's a lot of turnovers. It was a really sloppy week. Honestly, not a lot of the games, were clean. But the teams who were the better team won this week, in my opinion. Maybe Notre Dame snuck in there. Maybe Penn State's the better team, but it all the
They are
favorites
just
won.
so even.
Yeah, all the favorites won this week. So nothing really too
Yeah.
crazy, in my opinion. The craziest thing was the Texas, controversial rage quit. If I want to say rage quit, maybe I shouldn't, but I just did. So
Yeah, I think we're far along in this thing to know now, like, that's what happens.
yeah. So if you don't know it now, if you didn't know, if you go offsides 3 times in a row, you get booted. So if you want to get kicked out of the league, you can go ahead and do that, and go ahead. But I don't recommend it because we want to have people in this league. And I was losing 34-7. I wanted to quit, didn't quit. Just stick it out. Like, you're gonna you take your lumps. You're gonna win those big games too. So just take it and move on. That's all I got to say on that.
All right, week 3 then.
Yeah, week three.
We
Texas
have
A&M whooped up on FCS
7
Midwest.
user matchups, it looks like.
So good for
7
them.
user matchups.
Getting the game started early against FCS Midwest with the big 79-17 win. So good for you, Texas A&M. And
Slobber
Oklahoma.
knocker.
Oklahoma they also played FCS Midwest. So I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but they won 70-13. So you go, good job guys, getting your week started with a win. All right. So the user matchups, where you want to start?
We should probably just start with the biggest one. Um, we we got Arizona versus Iowa. This is stage 3 of the gauntlet for Arizona. I guess to piggyback off what I said earlier, Arizona beat the 2 teams in the conference or the national championship last year. Well, here's the 3rd team that probably should have been in that game. So it's getting tougher than this. How do you see this one playing out?
I think I'm gonna have to take Iowa in this. Nate just plays such good defense. I think I'm gonna have to go with the defense. I think defense wins championships, and if you know how to stop the run, I think you can beat Arizona, and I think he's going to.
Yeah, but I've played Iowa, and they're a defensive team for sure. However, when they play against users that have potent offenses, Iowa's proven that they too can score points in bunches, and this just comes down to who has the ball last. I'm not sure who that will be, but I guarantee you whoever has the ball last in this one's going to win it.
I think Iowa being at home is also a big advantage for the Hawkeyes. So that's why another reason I took them. I don't see them as a huge favorite at all. Maybe like 2 or 3 points at most. If I don't want to get into gambling and all that, but that's kind of
No,
what I see it as.
it's definitely an intriguing matchup, and
Definitely going to be high
I'm
scoring,
thankful we have it.
or it's definitely going to be a slugfest. So
Well, I mean, we'll just have to see. I mean, I think Arizona, much like some other users, they can only play the game one way, and that's to put up points.
right.
So, just a matter if they can. If they can't, then I advantage Iowa 100%.
Mm,
Because Iowa can play either kind of game.
no, I definitely agree. So
So we got that one.
let's stay in the.
Actually, what I'm really interested in seeing is how about Florida State Bama?
All right, let's go to the powerful ACC.
versus SEC. So what intrigues me about this is, Florida State, they've obviously been very impressive through 3 years. They've been to the playoffs, and Alabama, I think they're flying under the radar here. They've had a really good 2 weeks. They absolutely demolished West Virginia, and then had a quiet computer matchup. So how do you see this one playing out, Frank?
Um, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide,
I think
going with the upset.
I think I have to take Alabama. Um, I I'm not sure why, but I'm just feeling that the Tide is just going to come out strong, and they're just going to roll like they did over West Virginia. They have a solid team. They have a lot of speed on the outsides with their wide receivers. Jalen Hale and Jaron Hamilton. They're flyers for the Tide. So I think I'm going to take the Tide on this one.
Going Roll Tide, huh? I'm just going to go against you here. I'm going to go Florida State. I think, you know, steady consistency. They mean something in these dog days of summer type games here. It's an intriguing matchup. I'll take Florida State close.
No, I can definitely see it happen. And Florida State also has those speed demons on the outside. So
Yep.
it could be another shootout. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of defense here because the offense looks pretty potent from both sides. So we're
I
definitely
mean,
gonna.
what I'm seeing with week 3, I see a lot of games that probably have no favorite. The ones we mentioned, there's some star power here, but honestly, the rest of these games seem like teams that are just that are eager to prove themselves or put themselves on that pedestal. I mean, Notre Dame, Miami is one where you probably consider Nate as a favorite, but I think these two have played frequently the past 3 years.
I'd have to take Notre Dame on this one. I like Notre Dame's a steadier team, and you kind of know what you're going to get from Notre Dame. Miami is kind of like an emotional roller coaster. You don't really know what you're going to get out of Bobby. So
I mean, that's what precedent says so far. But we'll see if Miami can turn that
yeah, Bobby can turn it on really
perception.
easy though. So I don't know. There's just a
Um,
lot of solid user matchups like that. You wouldn't think, but there's going to be a lot of close games this week that you might think will be
I
blowouts.
think the most intriguing to me is actually going to be Utah TCU. Utah had a very, very impressive week 1. TCU, I mean, that's a team that was made the playoffs last year. Um, was up early against Virginia Tech, but this game is more of proof is Utah's week 1 performance what we expect from them going forward. What's your take on that?
To be honest, I'm gonna have to take TCU. I like what I see out of TCU. I mean, they got some fight. The Horned Frogs got some fight in them. I think that win against North Carolina was a dominant win, and like you said, they were right in there with Virginia Tech. So I like the Horned Frogs.
All right. Yes, it is a 50-50 game. I think Utah is eager to prove themselves, put themselves on the map in the Big 12. I would go with the upset win, Utah, but obviously this is anyone's game.
It's always anyone's game. It's not really ever an upset.
Then we got Ole Miss versus USC here. How do you like your chances against the Trojans?
Um, you know, Michael's a good player, and we played week 1 last year. It started out really tough. I threw a pick on the first play of the game, as I remember. I like to throw interceptions. Um, he got up on me early, and then it kind of slipped away from there at the end. But it's just going to be another battle. I mean, everyone in here is a quality player. I mean, even people who don't think they're good are pretty solid players. So I'm not going in here thinking I'm going to win this game by 40 points. I never think that. So I'm just going in
No,
expecting a
you can't.
dogfight, and I'm ready to roll. And I think we're shooting for a 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. So
Nice. Is this going to be the week where you find your identity offensively?
you know, every week I hope it's the week. So I hope it is this week, because I'm tired of switching quarterbacks. It is not fun being the Ole
You know
Miss
the old
quarterback.
saying, right?
I
You have
know
two quarterbacks, you actually have none.
exactly. So my issue is I like the speed guys, but he can't throw. And then the guy who I thought could throw missed 77 passes in the game against Colorado. Granted, I was getting my butt whooped, but he still missed so many wide open touch. I should have scored at least two more touchdowns in that game. That eventually Prime stuffed me on fourth down, but I'm not looking at it like that. But I hope Chubb can figure it out this week against the Trojans.
So you heard it here first. Chubb is the Ole Miss starting quarterback from here on out until he's not.
Well, I don't know if he'll. It might be this week. He may
Until he's
be.
not.
Yeah. I'm also making a running back change. I'm starting Mike Aikman this week, my freshman power back. So hopefully we can see maybe, a different Ole Miss this week. Hopefully. But
Yeah, and then on the USC side, I mean, this is a team that is in need of a signature win.
well, I hope I'm not it because I don't think I'm much.
Well, you better bring your A game then.
Well, I
Because
always
Shaner
try.
is he is very opportunistic defensively, and that right now is your Achilles heel.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm gonna go with the Rebels to win this one, and I'm gonna say you win by 7.
All right. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna stay neutral because I'm just
I
here
know
to.
you don't want to jinx it. I get it.
I'm just here to play. That's all I want. But he's definitely got a lot of
Then we have
good
another.
guys, and he's got a lot of height. But yeah, what else you got, Ricky?
We got Georgia, Louisville actually too. I want to touch on
Oh,
this one quickly. Georgia, I mean, this team is actually ranked in the top 10 according to the AP.
yeah, I like them.
They're going against Louisville here.
They got the team. They have a good team. 94 overall team. They got a bunch of guys on that team who can play football. I'll tell you that. So
So where do you see this one going? Louisville has had a shaky start.
yeah, I
They
gotta
lost
take the
to
Bulldogs
Tennessee
here.
week 1. Yeah, they lost to Tennessee week 1. Um, barely beat their opponent week 2. I slipping me at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not. I forget as well, but I gotta take Bulldogs.
Hold on, I have it up.
Yeah, I mean
Let's see.
this guy has everything you want and more on this team. Um,
Yep, 2017 Stanford over Stanford. But again, this league's all about the user matchups.
yeah,
It doesn't matter if who doesn't make as many mistakes defensively.
yeah. Oh my God.
I'm just gonna go with Georgia based on there's just more speed and more talent on the
You
roster.
want to tell me about speed? He's got a 95 speed, 99 excel middle linebacker.
Yeah,
That's
I like a couple of those.
but we won't get we won't get into what's fair and what's not.
No, no. And then
Uh,
we just have one more user matchup, and that'll be my Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Missouri Tigers.
and that is
I'm
tonight.
gonna plead the fifth on this one, so it's all you.
Oh boy, do I love Missouri. But I'm
You would.
taking the Huskers tonight. I just like what you're doing, Ricky. I think you're going to figure out eventually how to stop someone on defense. I mean, Missouri's got a high-powered offense. They got guys who can score, but so do you. And I just got to take you here, Ricky. I think you're going to win by 10 points. I think Missouri's going to give you a game, and then I think there's going to be a turnover. I think it's going to be a fumble. Like it's not even something that Missouri's going to do. I just feel like you're going to get the luck tonight and get this win.
Hey, I'll take any luck I can get. But with that said,
All credit.
this is gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, exactly. He's got speed. He's got the guys that can keep up with anybody. I'm not entirely sure how good his defense is, honestly, but I'm assuming it's.
I mean, if even if it's not great, well, guess what? Neither is mine. So this is just gonna be who takes advantage of their possessions the most.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. I don't foresee either team really punting a whole lot.
I know all about that.
Because it's sort of once you get in that mindset, like, hey, I need to score, or else that team
It's a toxic.
on the other side is putting 7 on me. Like that's just how it is.
exactly.
Um,
No, but
but I'm confident. I like what I've done so far.
yeah,
Yeah.
Surrey will give you a game,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I like what I've done so far. I'm not in rhythm yet, though.
yeah,
My passing team was a lot better last year, so hopefully we can break the snide a little bit and get one over Missouri. But
yeah.
don't be surprised if I'm 2-1 starting week 4.
You are the king of the Big Ten, Ricky.
For now, until we get into conference play, then we'll talk.
All right. What else you
But
got?
so I have a couple questions, and it's really just about the league. Um, what team do you think is overranked or overrated right now?
Man, you're trying to get
Putting
me
you on the
killed.
spot. Yeah, that's what I
All
want.
right. Well,
You got killed on the field already,
I'll start with an easy
so
one.
why not?
I'll start with an easy one. I just think it's my team's one of the overrated teams. I just and I'm not and I think I'll say someone else too, but like I think my team is pretty overrated. Like I don't have a lot of good players on my team. Hopefully we can figure something out, and hopefully I can figure my team out a little bit because I've been playing like crap, almost losing to Vandy and then taking a whooping. But I hopefully I can figure something out here tonight against the Trojans. Another team that I feel like
Yeah.
maybe is a little overranked is UNC. Um, they're ranked 20th right now. Yeah, they beat Colorado State by 30, but they took a whooping there, a little by TCU. But I would say North Carolina is a little high for me, but I'm not saying they're a bad team by any means. I just think they got to prove it a little bit more.
No, I like your original answer. Being ranked 15th while almost losing to Vandy
No, I think I'm
and
way over. That's
getting absolutely dog walked.
no, yeah.
But
I was
with
trying
that
to,
said,
yeah,
I mean, your playoff history is what's keeping you up there
right.
for the voters, I suppose.
I'll say a
But I mean,
team. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. I just said you need to turn it around week 3, or else you won't be in that 25.
No, I couldn't agree with you more.
What were
Um,
you gonna say? Then I'll get to my next question.
oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say who I think is like a team who's surprising me, or like who I wouldn't think would be ranked and is the Tide, Alabama. Like I don't know. Like I really like what Alabama's doing this year, and I was not expecting him to put 70 points up on a user week 1, and then he put up 56 points on USF. I mean, beat him by 40 points. I mean, I think he's going to give Florida State a good game, and I think he's going to win. And I like Alabama a lot this year. I don't know why. I just really like what Alabama's doing.
I mean, that's actually perfect because my next question is: Ole Miss is struggling. Is the, is the SEC for the taking?
Oh,
Um,
SEC is
this is a
always for the
this,
taking.
this this is a conference that has been dominated by Texas and Ole Miss. But guess what? Both teams are 0-2.
I'm 1-1, Ricky.
That's a loss. Come on, you lost. You should have lost that one to Vandy.
Probably.
No, no, I just misspoke. But
How about Penn
I,
State still being 11th? Maybe
oh,
they're
okay, that's
overranked.
well. I don't know. Eye test also means something. Like I said, Penn State.
They
You
could be
could argue
close
they
though.
should have won both those games.
No, I know. I just wanted to throw McMahon under the bus there a little. Um, well, all right.
There's time for that.
Yeah, I know. What else you got? What else you got for me?
Um, so sort of a segue off that. So both of the defending representatives of the national championship game are 0-2. Who is more likely to claw their way out of it and make their conference championship game?
Penn State.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I just,
There's a lot of users in the SEC.
yeah,
McMahon has a pretty narrow path
yeah. And McMahon's
in the
schedule
Big
from here
Ten.
on out is pretty like I won't say easy.
Oh, I would
It's
say it's
favorable.
easy.
It's a little favorable.
I wouldn't say it's easy. He still has to play Iowa and
No, I
Oregon. I'm pretty
no,
sure.
yeah, no, I didn't mean to say easy. I just meant like he's got some pretty good CPU matchups that he should win pretty easily, and um, I just think he will figure his team out. I think Texas is going through an Isaiah Bond problem, but that's okay. Every team goes through problems. I know my team don't have a quarterback. Texas doesn't have a stud wide receiver. Teams lose players, and that's why you recruit. So you might have a down year this year, but who's say next year you won't be just as good as where you were?
Okay. Then my final question is going to be after week 3, what are the storylines that we're going to be talking about?
Oh boy, week 3. Well, I mean, we could say Michigan goes 3-0, and they could keep
That's
on
not a
winning.
storyline.
No, that's just a side quest. Let's see. Well, I mean, Alabama over Florida State. You could say USC upsetting me because I can't play. Don't know how to play the game. Um, I'd say Missouri upsetting Nebraska. You could see any of these
All
things
right. I
happening.
mean, so essentially, you got where I wanted you to go.
Yeah,
I think the storyline after week 3 here is going to be this is more wide open than either year 1 or year 2
yeah.
ever were at this stage of the season.
There's no doubt about it.
Um, it's going to be very top heavy. I mean, Colorado is still going to be one no matter what happens. Arizona will be 2 or worse depending on how their matchup goes. Um, but I mean, the rest of the field, we got some heavyweights that are potentially staring down an 0-3 start, a
Right.
1-2 start. Um, some upset losses that set them back in conference play, like an FSU versus Bama. Or the storyline can simply be the top dogs are still the top dogs.
Yeah. We'll have to
It's gonna be a
have to
little bit of
wait.
both,
We'll
but
have to wait and see here. I mean, this
um,
could be a pretty important week. I mean, this will show you who the dogs are and who not the dogs are.
yeah, this is basically like the big last week of the out of conference matchups where there's a lot of them all at once.
Yep. Then we
And
get
then
to
we just get into conference play, and then you're truly in the dog days
Yep.
of conference play.
It's definitely getting exciting.
We'll just have to see how it plays out, of course. But I'm going to be very very intrigued at this time next week.
Yep.
Who we are saying is in a must-win situation already when week 4 begins. Just hopefully you're not in that situation.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm not, but there's definitely a chance. All eyes are on Coach Frank Bohannock and the Rebels. Will they be ready for their top 25 matchup against the Trojans? We'll find out later.
Well, we will find out later. But I mean, that's all I have, Frank.
Yeah. Good. Me too, man. Good luck to you and the Huskers tonight. Hopefully
Good
you
luck to
guys.
the Rebels.
Thank you, Ricky, and good luck to all you guys playing this week. And hopefully none of your guys. Hopefully all your guys stay healthy and have a nice, successful season. And we'll talk
And
to
a
you
happy
guys.
holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you guys next week. All right, have a good one.